Previously on Gears.
Time to get into the world of Formula One, as always brought to us compliments of Pirelli and Tiger Wheel and Tyre. And you stand a chance still to win a trip to any Formula One Grand Prix in 2014. All you have to do is go visit the website twt.to. Well, the news came out last night, and I must tell you, I'm very disappointed about this news. McLaren have dropped Sergio Perez. They've decided to go with the youngster Kevin Magnussen. I think, also an interesting move, a very difficult decision for them to make. But what do you expect from Sergio Perez when you give him a really very underrated car, and only in his first season of Formula One? He's done very well to match and beat the likes of Jenson Button quite regularly this season, and I think he did a very, very good job. It now puts him in a very difficult position. It wasn't something that he was expecting. He was expecting to stay on a multi-year deal with McLaren, and now he's got to try and find a drive. So where can he go? I don't know if there are many options. Perhaps maybe force someone like Paul Di Resta out of Formula One. Perhaps replace his fellow countryman Esteban Gutierrez at Sauber. But a very, very difficult time, I think, for Sergio Perez at this time. That's why I'm wearing his shirt today. But I feel desperately sorry for and unlucky for the young Mexican. Other news, and who mentioned it first? I did. On Monday, I said if I were the bosses at Lotus, I would replace Kimi Räikkönen with Heikki Kovalainen. And what have they done? They've replaced.
You're so clever.
I'm very clever. So Heikki Kovalainen going to be in the car. Also, you got to feel desperate for Davide Valsecchi. He's the third driver and test driver for the Lotus team, but he lacks the experience. And last night on the show, we brought up on Absolute F1, we brought up a very interesting statistic about those people who are now in Formula One, who are youngsters, and the lack of testing and the lack of time that they spend in a car before they get onto a racetrack. And we took a very, very simple equation or analysis. One was Romain Grosjean, the other one was Lewis Hamilton. Now, Romain Grosjean, you could say in a way now, is a seasoned campaigner. He's basically had 2.5 seasons in Formula One. And his testing time of during that period is the equivalent of about 6,000 kilometers. Okay. 6,000 kilometers of testing time. If you take it that he's raced in 2.5 seasons, so if you look at it, about 50 Grand Prix, he's done another 15,000 kilometers of racing if he's completed every single race, and we know he hasn't. So that's quite a lot of time in a car. But his testing time in 2.5 years is only 6,000 kilometers. To give you an idea, Jacques Villeneuve, before he got into a Formula One car, before he got into a Formula One car to start his first race, had finished 15,000 miles of testing. Lewis Hamilton, and this is where our comparison was, before Lewis Hamilton started in his Formula One career, he had done 12,000 kilometers of testing. Romain Grosjean, in 2.5 seasons of racing, has only done 6,000 kilometers. So you sometimes have to feel for these young drivers that are coming into Formula One because they haven't had the chance to go and do some testing. So look at a guy like Sergio Perez and you go, he's only had 2 seasons in Formula One. He's in the McLaren outfit, and basically they're dropping him, and you're going, oh, that's very, very harsh. So Heikki Kovalainen will replace Kimi Räikkönen in Formula One for Lotus. For the last 2 races of the season. Now, there's a couple of stories, and some of them are a little bit far-fetched. The one story is, and yes, it has been confirmed that Sabine Kelm, who is Michael Schumacher's manager, did get a call to see if Michael Schumacher would be interested in racing the final 2 races for Lotus. Now, let's be honest. Michael Schumacher's a very fit man. He's always kept himself fit, but he's not Formula One fit. He hasn't been in a car for basically a full season. For him to get into a car at such short notice would have been ridiculous. There's no ways he would have have agreed to it. So I think it's just people trying to hype up Michael Schumacher again. There was no ways that he was going to take this on in any case. The other person that was offered the opportunity was Nico Hülkenberg. And Nico Hülkenberg, of course, is the man we're all waiting to hopefully be signed to Lotus. Now, this is where it gets very interesting as well. A lot of people expected that Nico Hülkenberg was going to replace Felipe Massa at Ferrari. Ferrari then, and I'm sure they had very many discussions about whether or not they'd get Nico Hülkenberg. And then they found out Kimi Räikkönen was available. Now, anybody would be stupid not to sign up Räikkönen. So they signed up Räikkönen. Now, I'm sure they said to Nico Hülkenberg, don't worry, your chance will come. You're at Sauber, you're with Ferrari, everything's okay. So the big talk at the moment is, and you've got to understand that Nico Hülkenberg also hasn't been paid by Sauber this year. So what has happened, and believe me, I think this is very, very true. Ferrari have picked up the tab for Nico Hülkenberg's paycheck and have basically said to him, listen, you stay at Ferrari now. Okay, I mean at Sauber at the moment, and basically there'll be a chance for you to go and race with Lotus if they manage to sign you. I don't see Nico Hülkenberg not getting a drive at Lotus, even though it's Renault powered. I think they will be able to find something in order to keep Nico Hülkenberg in Formula One. He definitely is a person that you've got to believe deserves to be there as well. Sure. So we've got Hülkenberg, and is going to stay at Sauber for these last two races. And I think very, very importantly will do that because they also are in a very, very good position to earn more points and finish high in the Constructors' Championship. So the rumor is that Ferrari may have encouraged the Finn, meaning Kimi Räikkönen, to have his back surgery. So because of that, then Hülkenberg would replace the Finn, only to find out that Hülkenberg is still signed into his Sauber contract. So, but because they breached the contract, Daisy, and hadn't paid Nico Hülkenberg, basically the contract is null and void. The big rumor, as I say, is the obstacle was in fact put in the way by Ferrari. Apparently, Ferrari took care of Hülkenberg's unpaid salary so that he could not be hired by Lotus.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. Now
This
one
is
can
like a soap opera.
Exactly. Now one can only speculate about the reason for the change of plans. In Austin on Wednesday yesterday, it was rumored that Sauber paid Hülkenberg's salary at the last minute. According to a lot of people, that money came from Ferrari, from Maranello. So Hülkenberg will stay where he is. But the problem is that Hülkenberg will be a free agent, of course, for the end, after his contract, and hopefully will go into a better team, and that better team, of course, will be Lotus. So it's all fun and games at the moment as well. We've got 2 races left for Felipe Massa at Ferrari before he goes to Williams. We've got 2 races left for Sergio Perez at McLaren before he goes, we don't know. We've got 2 races left for Pastor Maldonado at Williams before he goes, we don't know. So there's lots of things taking place, and one can only believe that the paddock at Austin, Texas, this weekend and starting basically from today is chaos, because you've got managers over there trying to secure their drivers for a shot in Formula One for next year. I think the man who's quivering the most in his boots has got to be Paul Di Resta, because he doesn't come with any kind of finance, hasn't had a particularly good season, and you've got to believe that Vijay Mallya is going to snap up anybody who can bring some well-needed funding to the Force India team. That person could well be Pastor Maldonado or Sergio Perez. So there we go. That's a look at Formula One. Don't forget, all of the action will be available this weekend. I will make sure that Daisy gives you a little update tomorrow on the show, because I won't be here because I'm going to be beer ponging. But I'll give you more details about that in a short while. So there's our Formula One report, brought to us compliments of Pirelli and Tiger Wheel and Tire. And you stand a chance to win a trip to any Formula One Grand Prix in 2014. Just go and visit www.twt.to.
trip for two to any 2014 Formula One Grand Prix of your choice. Plus, you can double your chances when you buy any 2 or more Pirelli tyres. Get to your nearest Tiger Wheel and Tyre to enter. Only at
Gears. GearsOnBalls.co.za. Weekdays 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.